Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Atypical Malayali. This is me Sachin Sibi, and today we're gonna discuss about how we're gonna apply for a Schengen visa. So recently a lot of people have been asking us how the process is, how long it's gonna take. So we thought this would be the best opportunity to explain how simple it actually can be. Before we get into the video, I would want to remind each one of you, this is very new to me, so I would like each one of your support. So please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. So we've applied for the Schengen visa twice right now. The first one was for Portugal and the second one was actually for Spain. So the Schengen countries usually consist of about 26 countries, and mostly including countries like Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, and so on. So once you are accepted a Schengen visa, you could travel to each and every Schengen areas. So the very first step would be getting a VFS appointment. So VFS appointment would be the most challenging part of this whole entire process because of the demand, basically. So it is so much in demand right now that we are not getting any slots. So I would say just keep looking each and every single day. So if you're from the UK, you could check, VFS appointment in Portugal from UK, and or if you're in India, you could always check VFS appointment to France from India. So that's how you would be getting these slots. So basically just keep checking each and every single day. And as soon as you get an appointment, just, without thinking much further, just book it. So if it is a week further or a month further too, that's still fine. So it gives you that time and gap for you to plan and process every other documents and the requirements that you need. One thing to always keep in mind is how early you're actually planning to travel. So if your visa appointment is on March 20th, let's say, I would recommend you to plan your intended date of travel to at least a month further ahead. So let's say 20th April or so, because we have no guarantee of how soon or how late it's gonna come, your visa and your passport. So just to be on the safer side, always keep at least a month for the a gap for the passport and everything to come back and be approved. So these are the common things that which we need to consider for applying a Schengen visa. Now I would take you through a few documents that we definitely would be needing for the visa application process. To begin with, the first thing that we need would be a passport, obviously. So, but always make sure your passport is valid until at least 3 months after the intended date of return. You could always keep your copies of your previous visa histories. So if you have a visa from the US or from the Australia, it would be always a plus to have those copies, just to make your application look stronger, and it has a more chance for being accepted. And the third thing would be so this is usually applied for a UK resident, obviously. So if you are a UK resident, you would definitely need a BRP card, especially if you are an immigrant. So all the immigrants from the UK, if you're applying for a Schengen visa, would need a residence permit. So obviously, if you are applying from India, this is not applicable for you. The next thing to consider would be a visa application form. So whichever country you're going to or whichever Schengen visa you're applying to, you could always go to their site and get a very generic visa application form. It's pretty straightforward. So that would definitely need to be filled in. The next thing would be a flight ticket. The flight ticket, it's always up to you to whether book it as a fully refundable one or book it as how much of a best deal you get. So we usually get go to Skyscanner, apps like that, and usually just book the best deals we actually get. The next thing to consider would be the hotel booking, your accommodation. So that's pretty similar to how we did the flight tickets as well. So if you Google in booking.com, you could always find decent deals for it. So 90% of the time it's fully refundable, so you have nothing to worry about even if your visa is rejected. One thing to consider would be, so if you're not staying in a hotel and you're staying with a cousin or a family member in the EU, you could always give their details as well if you're staying with them. The next thing would be the proof of funds. So what we were asked for is about 3 months bank statement. That's pretty much it. So you just need to make sure you have enough or sufficient funds in your bank for the last 3 months that could cover for your whole trip, basically. And if you're applying from the UK, we could easily just download it from the app, your banking app. And but you're if you're in India, you would definitely have to go to the bank and print it and then get it stamped by them. The next thing to consider would be your travel insurance. So while taking a travel insurance, you should always keep in mind that this particular Schengen country is covered in that travel insurance. So that is something you could always Google and get a quote for a specific travel insurance, and then you could always check for that company if that company is actually covering this particular country. As well as that, we should always make sure it covers up to about 30,000 euros. So that's the minimum that they will have to cover. Another thing in the certificate that it should definitely give a validity, like when it starts until when it actually finishes. The next thing to consider would be getting a 3-month payslip from your employer. The recent 3-month payslip would be the best option for that, and as well as that, we would also need an NOC from your employer. So whichever your company or an organization is, let them know as soon as you get an appointment to provide you an NOC. This NOC should be having certain elements in them, especially your name, your current address, your salary, how much you're earning, when you started working over there. Certain common or basic things like that would definitely be needed, and the fact that they should also mention that they have no problem in you traveling to a different country and coming back. Another thing we should be having is about 2 passport size photos. So usually it differs in different appointment centers. So one appointment center, they took the passport size pictures for us, and the previous one we actually had to give it to them. So either way, always keep it with you just in case. The most important thing in this segment would be having a cover letter. So a cover letter should be having all of your details, your travel plan, your travel itinerary, your travel documents, every single thing. You should be mentioning all the things you're planning or intending to do when you're traveling, what you're gonna do there, which all places you're gonna travel to or visit, what your purpose of traveling is. It just makes your application look a lot more stronger. And a few things that you could also include in that is the fact that whether you are having a single entry or a 2 entry or a multiple entry. So we usually choose multiple entries just because we have the opportunity to travel more than one time. So if you're getting a visa, if you're putting a single entry, it's obviously going to be just for that few days. And if you're looking for a multiple entry, you would definitely have it for an year, or maybe 3 months or 6 months. So you could travel any of those Schengen countries anytime you basically want. So it's always good to put multiple entries. So these would cover all of the documents that we need for this particular appointment. And the next thing I want to cover is the actual appointment date, the things you should be considering while you actually go for the appointment. So the first thing would be, if you're getting a slot, always make sure you reach there at least 10-15 minutes early in advance, because these things are very much in demand, and if you miss the slot, you may have to try it some other day or something. So it's always important to be there on time. So the first thing you would be doing is go inside, get a token number, and once your token number is called out, you could always just go to the visa appointment officer and give all these documents that you have gathered. So what they do is they just go through each and every step and documents and everything and make sure everything is fine, and if everything is fine, they will charge you the visa amount fees. Usually the fees that we give is or would be around 100 or 120 pounds. That's in the UK, and if you're traveling from India, I would say that would be around 10,000 to 15,000 rupees. So that is one thing to consider. It would always differ in different countries when you're applying. So once everything is sorted, they will take a picture, get your fingerprint and all that, and then they will take all of your documents, and then that's pretty much it. So this would cover everything that we actually need for a Schengen visa. Certain things that you could consider, these are purely based on our experiences. One thing was that while booking a certain accommodation, if I'm booking, it's always gonna just say my name on the booking confirmation. So I have to always put a letter saying that I'm happy to accommodate my partner as well along with the whole stay. So that would be something that the visa appointment officers would always ask. Another thing, the duration that it took for us to get the visa or the passport was about 3 weeks. Everything has been fine so far for us. So yeah, it usually takes about 3 weeks, but it can always take some time more than that as well. So you always have maybe two options for it. So one is always that you could always collect it, and the other option is to get it couriered to you. So we always choose getting it couriered to our location. So make sure all your details, addresses, name, phone number, everything is correct. For your ease, I will also put an application form link into the description so you would know how it actually looks like. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That completes our visa application or Schengen visa process. So if there is anything additional that you would want me to cover, you could always just drop a comment on it, and or you could always message me. I would do my best to research it and explain it to you. So happy traveling.